Hi guys, so sorry for this weird angle. I'm a little bit weepy today, like emotional. So I'm sorry if I just cry my whole way through this video. But what I wanted to talk about today was why I chose minimalism, or why I call myself a minimalist, or whatever. I've thought about this so much because I'm just a very deep person, I guess you could say. I analyze and I overthink, and I'm a really an emotional, heartfelt. My emotions, I'm that kind of person. I'm a hippie. I don't know. So I wanted to talk about some of the major things that happened in my life that led me toward minimalism, or why I ever even started this whole thing in the first place. And I'm going to do a blog post on this. I have it planned out. I just haven't written it up yet, but I thought I would do a quick video to kind of brief you. I also have it written down so that if I start crying, I don't forget. You're welcome. So the first thing that I think was a big aha moment in my life was when I was 16. My friend's mom died. Very unexpectedly in a car accident. I guess I'm going to try not to cry. That was the first time anybody told me. I came to school and there was a bunch of girls. Someone said, "Why are a bunch of girls crying in the hallway?" And I was like, "Oh, who knows, teenage girls. There could be so many big problems, right?" And someone said, "So-and-so's mom died." And for the first time in my life, I felt like I was being lied to. I felt like she was lying to me, because this was a mom that I was very close with, somebody who I just adored and loved. And even, we had moms come in and be with my group of friends. We were all together crying. And the mom that was there kind of spoke up and told the principal, she said, "These girls aren't crying for their friend. I mean, they're crying for their friend, but they're crying for their loss. They feel like they lost a friend." And my friend was never the same. I mean, she stayed who she was, but she would always complain about everybody else in our high school, basically. I mean, not everybody else. She's a great person. She's going to watch this and be like, "I did not." But for example, you've got a teenage girl coming to you and talking to you about how her medicine is making her break out. And my friend had to sit there while trying to cope with the loss of her mom. By the way, her biological father, was not really in the picture. So this was a huge loss. This was a very, very, very hard time. Brother and sister were older, moved out of the house, If you had just lost all of that, and that's where you were at, imagine how difficult it would be to listen to someone talk about their zits and their problems with their zits. She kind of was able to see, big picture. Your problems, high school problems that used to be problems, are not problems. So even just knowing she felt that way, I tried to be aware of what I said, but I'm sure I pissed her off a lot, because I'm a space cadet and that's how I am. And because she also lost her mom in a car accident, she put no value into her vehicle. She took care of it, maintained it, but she was like, "It's just a car. It's just a car. Gets you from point A to point B, that's all it is." And at the age of 16, I'm like, it is. I mean, not a big deal. You're like, "Oh, I just got my driver's license, and look at a car." And her perspective of, it's just a vehicle, there's no real value in it, started to change the way I thought about things. Not too long after that, a couple years down the road, my father passed away. My dad died. He hadn't been a big part of my life for the previous few years. He died when I was 19. Alcohol. It's on his death certificate, alcohol, cause of death. Shut down all of his organs. It was a long, slow process. And I mean, alcohol was the main problem why, he lost contact with my brother and I, where we weren't a family anymore. And for me, it was like, why would I ever, and when I started to have kids, I would think about him and I would think, I'd get so mad because he's missing out on this whole huge part of his life. I know my dad. He was so fun to be around a lot of times. He wanted grandkids. There's no doubt in my mind that he dreamed of how fun it would be to have grandkids. He dreamed about getting to walk me down the aisle, and I was his little girl. He bought me like a bride outfit when I was little because he did. As a dad, you're excited to do those things for your kids. And alcohol took all of that away and more. That's all gone. That opportunity is gone. Nothing is going to happen. It's over. And just like my friend in her car, I would never want some substance to have any say in what happens in my life. So get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of caring about the car. Get rid of caring about, not just alcohol, but for me, it's been food. It's really easy for me to ditch food. Not really easy. It's hard. But I've had to go gluten-free, and now I'm like having to cut out corn from my diet, and it's like, you know what, that's fine. If it's going to take away from my quality of life, done. That's okay. I don't care. I used to be a big shopper, things like that too. I used to like always accumulate clothes, and I'd spend all my money buying outfits. And do I have any of those? The thousands of dollars I spent in high school on clothes, they don't exist anymore. And how much better could all of that money gone toward a big goal in my life, major goals that I had when I was younger, which I didn't have a whole lot. I didn't know. I was kind of a wanderer through life. And then the last major thing that made me continue on my journey of minimalism, and I think this was like as far as the materials go, it was my big eye-opener, was when my grandma passed away. I looked through her photo albums. They're all black and white. And I thought about her life, and I thought about the times I spent with her, because she was my dad's mom. So when I visit my dad, I would often be at my grandma's house. He lived with my grandma a lot. And when he was at work, I was with my grandma. And I thought about how much I loved her house. The House That Built Me, by Miranda Lambert. Great song. I grew up bouncing around so much. My mom got divorced 3 times 3 times in her life total. 1, 2. Yeah, 3 times in her whole life. 2 times in mine, sorry. So 2 times in my lifetime. And my dad got divorced 2 times. So he divorced my mom, he divorced my stepmom, she divorced my dad, she divorced my stepdad. I've been through a lot of parents. I've been through a lot of houses. I've been through a lot of moving around and bouncing around. And for me, my grandma's house was my consistent. It was a home. It was the one thing that didn't change in my life. This 900 square foot tiny house with an unfinished basement holds like all my greatest memories. And when I started to think about that, my big house that we used to be in just seemed so wasteful. And I was like, you know what, wait, I don't need this. I don't need this to make my kids happy. I don't need this to make my family close. These are a lot of things you think you need and you want. Like, oh, this will be so fun for entertaining. And oh, this will be so fun for this. And oh, we can have family events here, and all this driveway is so big for birthday parties. And all of a sudden, none of it seemed to matter. Like, who cares? I was able to make all my best memories in a tiny little house, and we were able to have events, and everyone packed in and smushed together, and the kitchen was always hot because it was everything. My grandma was cooking everything on the stove, and we laughed, and we did Christmases, and we had room for a Christmas tree, and everything was fine, and we spent time in the backyard, and then we also spent a lot of time outdoors and camping and going places and doing things outside of the house, and I just started to realize that's really what I wanted for my life. All these events came together for this big giant realization that stuff doesn't matter. And I don't want to waste any of my time worrying about it. But at the same time, I had to figure out, how to still enjoy things. I just bought myself this shirt with a gift card. It makes me happy. It's from where my mom is from, the Porcupine Mountains in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Everything I buy now has a purpose. I don't just spend money on things. I don't crave things. When people say like, oh, I really want this kind of car, I'm like, that's cool, I guess. It's not something. Or when people talk about, what plans do you have for your house? I'm like, I want to finish the basement someday. I think that will be fun to have like a downstairs entertainment area for family events and things. But I used to feel like I had to have it. I used to feel like I had to have all of these things, and I needed the nicest things, and I needed wood floors, and oh, those doors are so ugly. I need brand new doors. And but why? What purpose are new doors or wood floors going to serve in my life? And the ultimate goal and the purpose of my life, am I going to be on my deathbed and be like, I'm so thankful that I have wood floors and stainless steel appliances? Nope, not going to care at all. So why bother my worried little mind, or why waste my time worrying about it? I'm not gonna. So, but even so, I would like stainless steel appliances someday, but it's not this craving that I used to have. It's not this like, oh, I'm so embarrassed by my white appliances. Oh, we even have one stainless steel microwave because at the time we could afford a microwave when it went out. We got a microwave and I was like, I don't care if it doesn't match. We don't need to spend $3,000 on brand new appliances. They work fine. Really, we don't need them. And mismatched appliances is just such a silly thing to spend my time worrying about. You know? I mean, there are real problems in the world, and there are bigger problems in my personal life anyway. So, anyway, I don't know if this made any sense. But those are just some of the things that I thought about, and I don't know if you guys have ever thought about them. If you have, I would love to hear. Like, if you guys have big stories or changes that kind of changed your perspective on life and made you stop worrying about silly, pointless things that you don't need to worry about, share in the comments below. If you like this video, like it so that I know and I can do more videos like this. And be sure to subscribe. I'm going to do lots of minimalists and money-friendly posts just in order to help you live a more peaceful existence, or hopefully.